Hello world, hello Facebook, hello friends. Bansi here for another extemporaneous talk around the village fountain in the virtual sphere. So I almost didn't come on today. I was like, well, I didn't post it ahead of time. Maybe I don't really feel like it today. And then the theme kind of started rising from that. It's like, oh yeah, what's the value when we go with the flow? Like, I'm just going with the flow. I'm going to just do when it feels like it. And when do we keep our word? Because you can negotiate your word, but I said, yeah, I'm going to do these every week, every Thursday at 10. And I'm like, okay, well, I said I was going to do it. Should I do it? Should I do it if I'm just not quite feeling the inspiration right now? And so that brings me to a beautiful topic around the value of keeping your word, the value of going with the flow, and how do those relate? What is their relationship? When do we do one? When do we do the other? And so I want to talk briefly, or maybe at length, about that. I've had many personal experiences where I feel I felt really let down when someone didn't maybe show up when they say they were going to for one reason. Well, what I find out later is that, well, they just didn't feel like it anymore for whatever reason. Like there's somebody's going to meet me, and in one case I was in a foreign country and they were going to help me get somewhere in a foreign land I didn't know, and they didn't show up, and I felt really abandoned. And later I found out that they're walking on the beach and they just didn't feel like leaving the beach. Of course, who doesn't want to leave the beach? Meanwhile, they have a friend who's counting on them to help them in a foreign land. That broke a trust and a bond and a friendship that I don't think ever recovered from that. And I think a lot of us encounter this kind of thing frequently on a day-to-day basis, and many times it's a lot smaller a thing. And it's just meeting for dinner at 6. They don't show up till 6:20, and oh, well, that's not the end of the world. You can still eat, but what are the micro transgressions what impacts does that have on a smaller scale with how we relate, how we trust, how we bond, how we it's this value of integrity is one of my highest values. And it's like, for me, that has several layers. The top layers are, if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. If I say I'm not going to do something, I don't do it. I keep my word. And for me, that's a pretty strong value. Now, one could describe that as being the masculine. So the masculine is like the container. This I'm going to do it. I'm going to build it. I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to do what I'm going to say I'm going to do. It's a matter of honor. And one could describe the feminine side as this going with the flow. Like I'm just going to be feeling. I'm just going to be like water, and I'm going to flow and be wherever I land. And I don't know if I'll be there on time. I don't know if, of course, that's also an interesting blend, because you can, in a way, have integrity around, I'm not going to commit to anything because I don't know if I'm going to feel like it. And that's a way of keeping integrity. But there becomes a little bit of an issue when you commit and promise to be at a certain time, and then also want to go with the flow. And then how does that relate? Well, we'll see how much all this is making sense. I didn't plan out a speech, right? So this is all spontaneous. But there's an aspect of this integrity and keeping our word, of well, you go to work. A lot of those who have jobs, okay, you have to start at a certain time, and you show up on time, and you're expected to, right? There's an agreement. Like, our reality is kind of formed around the agreements we make on a certain level, and we don't necessarily have the choice to not go to work just because we don't feel like it if we have such a job, right? And so, maybe we respond or react to that kind of lifestyle, almost going to the opposite, where it's like, oh, I don't want to, I don't ever want to have to be anywhere, period. Be in that feminine flow of, well, let's see what I feel like. I'm going to follow my feelings. I'm going to follow my intuition or my impulses. I'm going to see what arises. So I guess what I'm proposing is something of a paradox where both of these can live together and live in service of each other, where we can make plans with people. We can agree to come together for whatever it is, or gatherings, and we can arrange things so that we can have productivity in our lives, whether it's a job or a family gathering or something. We come together we plan things, and then that's also kind of like the bowl that holds the flow, and then the flow can trust that, okay, there is this path, there's certain things we've agreed to do, and within that I can flow between the banks of the river. Like we've kind of set a path where we're going, and within that there is actually flow. Alright, so I'm going to pause and just be silent for a minute, feel into if there's anything else I want to say about that. Any comments on that, whether it's live or afterward, let me know. Curious what your orientation is to going with the flow and keeping our word. Presence and connection. Well, I feel pretty complete with the with my original comments there. If there's any questions or comments live, I don't know who's on. Maybe I'll just leave it at that for now. Part of my structure here is starting at 10, but I don't have an ending point, which I'm okay with for now. And I always value the connection. That's we'll probably start doing some Zoom conferences here also, for anyone that wants to have a live interaction in a private container instead of this public venue. Yeah, we have fast, busy lives. We want to get information and go, do it quickly. I'm the same, when we have more and more thousands of videos, hours of videos coming up online every day. More than we could ever possibly consume, even a fraction of. Can we appreciate this moment? Can we just drop in and be here also? What if this moment is all there is? And what if it's enough? What if this moment is all there is? And what if that's enough? I love how if we allow the time and the space, that the new, something else emerges, something new comes that's never been quite said before or thought before. We're really deeply listening and waiting in the silence, in the stillness, in the void. Can we be okay with nothing and then allow a true birth from nothing to emerge? It's also a combination of discipline, of staying present, and flow of being with whatever arises. What if this is all there is? And what if it's enough? All right, I'm going to bow out. Hope you have a beautiful day.